Happy holidays, everybody, from me, Brian McWilliams at Electric Libertyland. And speaking of the holidays, I want you to check out one of our top sponsors, ammo.com. Not only for gifts for loved ones, because, hey, everybody needs ammo, even your Aunt Nellie. But also, who knows if that's Santa up on the roof with those reindeer? Who knows if that's him or a burglar? Private property rights, protect those, man. Ammo.com. Not only are these guys fantastic libertarians, and you will note that if you go to their website, you're going to see a lot of articles, libertarian-themed charities, everything, because that's why these guys came to us. We didn't come to them. They came to us because they are libertarians. They wanted to support a show that has their values in mind, and thus, here we are. And by the way, if you go spend $200 or more at ammo.com, you will get $20 off and extra bonus, 1% of your sale. And that's the whole thing, not just the net revenue. 1% of the sale goes to a libertarian charity of your picking. They've got a bunch of them listed on the website, so you can pick and choose which ones you want to support. Visit ammo.com/Lions of Liberty.
Welcome to Electric Libertyland, here on the Lions of Liberty podcast, your weekly shot of culture, comedy, and liberty with your host, Brian McWilliams.
All right, everybody, welcome to Electric Libertyland, episode number 104, meaning you can find all the show notes for today's episode at lionsofliberty.com/ELL 104, as per usual. And today, I am very happy to welcome in a guest. He's going to come on my show. I'm going to go on his show. And it's not like we're going to record these shows in the same day and just cut them up because we're too lazy to record Christmas week or anything like that. That's not the case, if you're wondering. But, of course, my friend, my compatriot, my fellow fighter for liberty, and, of course, host of Felony Fridays here on the Lions of Liberty podcast, John Odermatt. Welcome back to the show, John.
It is an honor and a pleasure to be back here. Finally, John Odermatt has come back to Electric Libertyland. I think it's like since episode number 2 I was on.
That's not true. I had you on at least one other time.
You were just a little podcast back then, just like a little infant, just getting your feet under you, and now you're all grown up.
Now I'm big enough to Now I'm big enough to play with matches and start fires that rage uncontrollably, burning down schools and causing thousands upon thousands of dollars of damage. Much like the France protests. You knew me back when I was just one vest. Now I am many vests, turning over cars in the street.
Hey, that's what freedom's all about, destroying property, right?
Yeah, exactly. Destroying the property of innocence. Yeah, man. Well, hey, what can I say? You know, you get busy. You get guests on, and then we do all our, because I talk to you every week, so it feels like, we do our bonus content. So I talk to you constantly anyway. So I feel like maybe that's why I never think to have you on the show, because we're talking all the time anyway.
Probably outside of my wife and my coworkers, I might talk to you and Rico the most, at least during gambling season in the fall here.
Yeah, I agree. I can't think of somebody that I talk to more often, at least not once a week. I mean, even my parents, I'm like, I got a 5-minute cap on this phone call. Of course, my dad's going to listen to this. A tear rolls down his face. Anyway, so I'm thinking, for this, let me wish everybody out there, hope you had a very Merry Christmas, a Happy Hanukkah, everything. John, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Happy Kwanzaa. Happy
Christmas,
happy holidays.
Yeah, whatever you celebrate out there, whatever pagan original. Happy, I don't know, Satan Day. I don't know if they have a Christmas holiday for Satanism, but I hope they do. But, I wanted to do a little nod to the holidays by asking you, what is the holiday tradition in the Odermatt household? Do you have one that you do, either you and your family or you and your wife, that you celebrated over Christmas?
Yeah, that's a good question, because this year was the first year where in the past on Christmas Day, it's always hectic. We're running, we're opening our presents, and Ruby doesn't really get to play with her presents. We'll be running off to Nicole's uncle's house to see her side of the family, which is really far away, like an hour and a half. And then we'll be running to see my parents and that side of the family, which is like another hour and a half drive. And then finally we'll get home and we'll feel exhausted, just feel like bags of crap. But this year, what we did is we're just deciding we're staying home. And we stayed home, opened presents, relaxed, and enjoyed some cocktails and made some pasta. So it was awesome.
Did you make real pasta or zoodles?
Real pasta. We have it's I don't know if people realize this. I didn't realize this until I made pasta, but it is so easy to make your own pasta. It's just flour.
We just lost all our Italian-American listeners. They're like, what? It's easy to make a pasta. Get at it.
Well, I guess if you're doing it with like the real hand crank thing, that's probably a little bit harder. But if you have the connection onto the key, is it Cuisinart or Cuisinart? I can never say it.
Yeah, Cuisinart. Oh, I should get one of those then. I didn't realize it was that easy because I have a Cuisinart.
Pop that thing right in there, and it spins around. You roll it out a couple times, nice and thin, and then linguine that stuff up. It's beautiful.
Nice. See, I have a similar thing where it's like, usually we always go to not always, but we fairly often go to my wife's parents' house here in Venice because she's her little brother or dad or stepmother. They have like a tamale thing Christmas Day half the time. Depends on whether their dad's working or not. So we went over there, had some tamales, but this year we didn't travel anywhere, thank God, except to Vegas. We're going to be making a quick trip to Vegas at the end of the month. 2 days, and I know we still need to make our degenerate gamblers trip to Vegas, which we really need to book that in. But now we might as well wait till pool season comes, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason to go to Vegas right now.
No, so but we're going to go for a little quick trip. But last year we were traveling everywhere, and this year we were like, we're not going anywhere. We just want to stay in town. So yeah, we have a tradition wherein we bake a prime rib on Christmas Day. So we enjoy our prime ribs. And just sit around and drink, watch Christmas movies, and except for the quick foray, which is about like 3 hours over to my wife's family's house, just chilled. And I don't know about you. Do you have a movie you watch on Christmas Day? Because like I watch A Christmas Story on Christmas Day.
You have to. I never watch it from beginning to end. I always catch it like halfway through. Yeah. But then you watch the end, then you just watch the beginning right to where you left off. And it's it's a whole movie. It's beautiful.
It is the invention of that we're just running for a 24 hours thing was such a brilliant idea because you just put it on and you just like I said, you come back to it, you leave it, and it's nice knowing it's there.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a wife that never leaves you. So I'm told. Anyway, all right. Well, let's get into the topics here. So for this episode, I want to do something that was a little bit less reliant on current events because of the holidays and everybody's busy. So we don't want to be researching. And it's going to be a little bit shorter of an episode, too, because, again, we're in the midst of holiday cheer. And as much as we love our audience, we do want to enjoy time with our families. So
but we don't take time off. A lot of podcasts out there will skip a week at Christmas or New Year's. We don't. We keep on trucking.
We wanted to. Mark would not let us.
It's true.
So, John and I.
He's really tough to work with.
Oh God, that fucking guy. So anyway, but I'm thinking it would be good to do a Trump or dump. We haven't done one of those in so long. I think at the very start of the podcast, I had a Trump or dump. So let's do a little trumpet and dumping. What do you think about that?
Let's dump and trump it up. I love it.
All right, man. Well, so I'll lay out some of these topics. The first one that I wanted to bring up is Trump has banned bump stocks, and this is done through executive order for the most part because you can't legally do it through the Second Amendment doesn't permit it, and several different layers of courts have gone through and said no. Even the Obama administration said no. You cannot go through. You cannot ban bump stocks because it is not an automatic weapon. And basically, what the Trump administration has done is reclassify bump stocks as automatic weapons. Or enabling something to be created into an automatic weapon. So this is probably a fairly easy one, John, but what's your take on this? Is a bump stock turning a semi-auto into an automatic rifle, and then should it be banned?
No, it should not be banned. And also, I 100% agree with you, and really this has been legally defined that a semi-automatic weapon, it cannot just become automatic. So there has to be something to be done. It has to be forced in a way to fire quickly, to imitate. It's an imitation of an automatic weapon. You can do the same thing with a belt loop or a bunch of other different things. So essentially what they've done with this ruling is they've said the human body plus a semi-automatic weapon is not allowed to happen. It's ridiculous. And I think it's already been challenged with a federal lawsuit. I don't know how long that takes to work out or what happens there. But I wouldn't be surprised if it gets overturned. But this is a big old steamy, stinking dump. And the sick part is that Trump supporters, they don't give a shit. They don't care. I mean, they defend this to the hilt.
Well, it's like it's like a form of brainwashing. We talk about how brainwashed people on the progressive side of things are, but yeah, these Trumpers are on the same way. And look, I defend Trump more often than not because he gets attacked so many times and over ridiculous shit. But this is one thing indefensible, and especially for a guy who says he's strong in the Second Amendment rights. To ban these bump stocks, it's a purely political maneuver. It's absolutely ridiculous. And there's any number of other things on the market you could do, easily obtain your own way to create this exact same type of advantage if you're going to try to shoot people. Like you said, it's basically you could do it with a belt. You could do it with any number of different tools you have in your home. Because all it is pressing up something, pushing something so that it pops like a gun forward and goes against your finger faster. Mm-hmm. You're still having to pull the trigger. It's not like you can just hold the trigger down. So, yeah, this is a huge dump. It's an embarrassment for a base that you'd think would be people that value the Second Amendment rights and don't. I mean, do these people not understand that when you start to erode these things in such a manner, it's a very slippery slope downward?
Yeah, I mean, you have a so-called conservative Second Amendment president doing this. It's just, what's the next step going to be? Because the way this works, it goes back and forth. There's going to be I think Trump will get a second term. He will get 8 years. But after that, the country is going to be so fed up with a conservative or a so-called conservative that it'll go back to the liberal side. Mm-hmm. And this is the precedent set now that the Republicans gave up bump stocks. So God knows what the Democrats will do. It's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it reminds me of all these, these different maneuvers that the GOP made when they were in power to try to solidify their power, make it easier for them to get an advantage, as far as the number of votes it takes to get bills passed, banning filibustering. They make all these maneuvers when they're in power. And, same with Trump, I'm going to do this when I'm in power. And like you said, well, what's going to happen when the other party comes back? Mm-hmm. You're just eroding the basic liberties that we have. And when it does flip-flop, it's going to be so much worse for everybody because they then have that same advantage or have that same precedent or now have that voting advantage or whatever else. It's like this short-sighted horseshit political gain that's just going to cost everybody so much vastly more down the road. Just awful. So dumb.
Big old dump.
All right. Next topic. Let's talk a little bit about, and this is right up your alley, but this criminal justice bill. Why don't you, I'll give you the opportunity to introduce the concept of the bill. I'm sure you know much more about it than I do, although I obviously know some things about it, and the fact that it has passed.
Yeah, so this passed easily in the Senate and in the House. I think it's sort of surprising when you do look into, especially in the Senate. I don't have the names in front of me, but some of the Republicans that voted against this are just so clearly doing this just out of their base being more conservative, and because their base isn't going to understand this, they're just going to hear the scary criminals are back out in the street thing, so they want to be able to say that they voted against it. But anyway, it does a couple major things. And so it's going to give federal judges more discretion when sentencing drug offenders, and it's going to boost rehabilitation efforts. It's also going to pour some money into programs and make it, a lot of times on my show, and I wish it was more private, funded by the private sector with these programs coming in, like training for people to learn how to weld when they're in prison so they come out with the skill. There's going to be more things like that. The federal government's probably going to screw them up because that's what they do. But it's I don't know. I mean, it's better than the current situation. I'm not going to say it's ideal by any stretch of the imagination. But the cool thing is, and this actually came in, I think, when the Senate redid the bill, because the House initially passed it. It was kind of didn't go that far. Then when the Senate got it, they actually added more to it. And the one cool thing is the life sentences for some drug offenders with 3 convictions, the 3 strikes. So those life sentences will be reduced to 25 years. A lot of these people have served 25 years, so they're going to get out. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure the timing on that. If it's going to be immediate, it probably won't be. Probably have to go through some probation.
It's not going to be like a movie where they open the gate and all these criminals are just like just run out raping and pillaging.
They just run out. They run immediately to our friend Brian Engelman's house and just get right in front of his house.
Brian Engelman, of course, from the New American Media. We're going to be talking about that story on your show, right? About legalizing.
We're going to talk about that. Tune in on Felony Friday this week. We're going to talk about pooping in the street. It's going to be a good time.
Everybody pooping in the street. Pooping in the street. Yeah. Like I said, the sentencing. I mean, it is talk about, I remember I was talking to a very progressive buddy of mine about this, and about, this, like I was saying, I end up defending Trump far more than I do attacking him when I'm talking to people in general, because I was talking to this guy like, look, criminal justice reform. That's one of the major things that I give a shit about, that libertarians give a shit about, and that everybody should care about. The drug war, criminal justice reform, anti-war. And I was just emphasizing this guy. I'm like, did Obama do shit about criminal justice reform? No. Other than at the end of his term, getting rid of what? I mean, he pardoned a small amount of marijuana users. He tried to get the people on the federal level to back off cracking down on states' marijuana rights. But otherwise, he did jack. The guy was worthless. He's a black president that had a state that, like, the House and the Senate on his side. He forced through Obamacare, but he can't do anything to help the largest prison population in the entire world. He can't.
He did. I mean, you got to give Obama some credit. He was, I think this is, I'm going to say this correctly, the first sitting president to visit a prison. Pretty sure in the history of the United States, first sitting president to actually go to a prison while he's a president. And he did grant a lot of clemency. A lot of people got out early, but there really was no, because the process is so screwed up and it's so hard to actually get your clemency in, and you check all the boxes and everything's done correctly, and they pick your case. So there were a lot of people who maybe they have a life sentence for pot who were left in prison. Well, a lot of people did get out, but he left a ton of people behind.
Oh yeah. So what do you think then? What's your grade for Trump? And a lot of people thought this bill, like you said, would not actually pass because of people like the GOP in the Senate that voted against it, or even just there were Democrats that were pushing back against this bill. Just to be, I don't even know, just to be assholes. I'm not sure what their complaints were about it, but I mean, what do you give Trump on this? Again, probably fairly obvious, but what's your?
Yeah, grade? I mean, I think it's definitely a Trump, and there's one other aspect of this which is interesting. So the final bill, when Trump signs it, will allow 2,600 federal prisoners who were sentenced for crack cocaine before August 2010, I think it is. They'll be able to petition for a reduced penalty. Hopefully, with the new sentencing guidelines that these judges are free to go by, a lot of them will get to go free. So nice. I don't know the final numbers for the amount of people that Obama did get grant clemency for and commute their sentences. But I think with this bill and what Trump has already done with a couple of the sentences that he's commuted, he could catch Obama within the next couple of months here. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, without a doubt. And of course, we can't talk about this. Of course, I also give it a Trump. But we can't talk about this without acknowledging who really put all these people in jail in the first place. I mean, not just Nixon. Nixon, of course, is on the hook for creating the drug war. But the Clintons, of course, are responsible for the majority of these people because they really had this 3 strikes rule put into place. They really ramped up the drug war when Bill Clinton was in office. And of course, Hillary Clinton was a big cheerleader for that and a big proponent of that. So, just another reason to hate the Clintons.
Like you need another one.
Yeah, like you add one more on, man. I'm so excited at the prospect of this. I mentioned a little bit on my last show, but the prospect of Hillary Clinton actually going to jail, it could still be out there. I don't think it's going to happen, but not because of her email server stuff, but because of the Clinton Foundation, where, they're actually doing an FBI investigation into it now based upon this independent audit that this firm did, which just found that it was like the most corrupt organization out there. So, they're not going to put him in jail, but it would be nice to see maybe just like home arrest for the rest of her life with an ankle monitor on her.
Oh, God. She could start a podcast. It'd be hilarious.
I would actually listen to Hillary Clinton's podcast. I could do a counter Clinton, like a counter Krugman.
That would be amazing.
It'd just be awesome. Except with her, what's she even to talk about? It would just be me arguing that gay marriage was always okay and giving better recipes for bourbon cake or something.
She'll just talk about being a grandma. She's just a sweet old grandma, Brian. Come on.
Oh, yeah. Sweet old grandma with a pistol in her hand and a quick line to the best assassins out there that can make it look like a 2 bullets in the back of the head suicide for any reason. Okay. Excuse me. All right. Next topic. Let's talk about Trump making health care or health insurance more affordable. And this is essentially what he's done is enable people to get these temporary, they call them insurance plans. And these temporary plans are 80% at their most, 80% cheaper than Obamacare plans. And I was reading an article that had the cost for a year for a family, something like, it's like $1,200 compared to $12,000. It's like a ridiculous, vast chasm in the affordability of these plans, but they can only be used for up to 3 years. However, that's a huge thing if you're going through jobs, if you're down, you're in a down cycle, maybe you're injured, whatever it might be. If you have a 3-year period where you aren't forced to get these massively expensive programs through Obamacare, that is huge. And it's saving thousands of thousands, well, probably millions of Americans, untold millions of dollars. So the ongoing fight against Obamacare continues. Trump has not repealed or replaced Obamacare. So take that into account. But what overall would you give Trump? A Trump or a dump as far as what he's done for healthcare as he's been in office? Or maybe just this year if you really want to truncate it.
Well, yeah, was it this year that because that was an executive order that they said they weren't going to enforce the Obamacare mandate, right?
Yeah.
I think that was this year. So by doing that,
I think it takes account this year, or it takes
maybe that's it. So by doing that opened the door. I don't really understand how that happened for the federal challenge, the states to challenge the law federally, which it looks like it's on its way to heading to the Supreme Court for Obamacare to be challenged again. And it was approved the first time because of that individual mandate being a fee.
Yeah, they said it was something where I think the reason behind it was something along the lines of they called it they said they were allowed to tax some sort of interstate commerce. Like that was the loophole they used, which was complete fucking horseshit. Mm-hmm. But it was something about interstate commerce and be able to tax it on a federal level. And that's how they justified sending people a bill that was a tax if you did not sign up for Obamacare and mandating that you had to get Obamacare.
Right. So, I mean, I don't think Trump planned this out. I don't think he saw this going this way, but
that's not 4D chess.
No, that's not underwater Parcheesi. But it's a good thing. I wish that I don't think it was possible to get anywhere with actually repealing Obamacare under the current climate of the past 2 years. I don't know if it'll ever happen. I think the only way for it to really happen is for the Supreme Court to strike it down. The only fear is what's it replaced with? Will it be replaced with something even worse?
Yeah.
And the Republicans will call it Trump care and they'll love it, but it could be worse than Obamacare. But for now, I got to give him a Trump on this. He's not making, you talk about these plans here. He's not making life worse. Those plans are saving people. It's not just like pennies. It's saving them thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars a year. So that's great.
Yeah, exactly right. And for people that are actually paying for their own Obamacare, that's what a lot of these assholes that are so, we love Obamacare. Obamacare's the greatest. Oh, it covers people that aren't, all this other horseshit. Most of those people aren't paying for their own care. They're getting it paid through their employers. So they don't realize that on a base level, the people who are, the people that are self-employed, the people that own their own business, the people that are individuals that don't have a job at the time, those people are paying out the fucking nose for it, and they're just not, unlike these people that have jobs paying for it, they're the ones actually feeling the crunch. So yeah, the amount of money, like you think about saving $6,000 a year, and when you're only making $40,000 a year or whatever it might be, it's just absolutely massive.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I agree with you. I also for fighting the individual mandate, which I adore, and for putting these in a place, which of course Rand Paul was also a big proponent of these short-term care plans. So yes, a big Trump for that one. Why don't we take a quick break, give you a word from our sponsor, and we'll be right back with a little bit more Trump-a-dump. We don't rise to the level of our expectations, we fall to the level of our training. Those epic words from Archilochus can sum up your ability to succeed or fail in business. I want to recommend Conversation Mat Time to our listeners as a way to hone your one-on-one conversation skills in a role-playing session that can help take you to the next level. During 25-minute sessions, you'll work through the best way to approach that raise, that interview, or that relationship with a practiced professional that will provide the confidence and experience you need to get paid what you're worth or take that interpersonal risk you've never been able to conquer. Just like in jiu-jitsu, the difference between a novice and a black belt is mat time. Train to win. visit conversationmattime.com and take advantage of a free 15-minute consultation just for listeners of this show. All right, welcome back to Electric Libertyland, episode number 104, everybody. I am here with Felony Friday's own glorious warrior for justice, the one and the only John Odermatt. Hello, John.
Glorious warrior. Is that, I don't know if that's good or bad, but I'll take it. Take it as a compliment.
Well, I think being a glorious warrior is good, but if you happen to have a glory hole somewhere, that could be good or bad, depending on your temperament. And, of course, depending on what restroom it's in.
That's true.
If it's in your own restroom, maybe good.
Just going to change the topic.
All right. Well, let's talk about, this is the one I want to save till after the break, because this is huge. This is pretty recent news that came out, and we've seen a lot of the response to it. But Trump has announced, and the reports I'm reading, Trump announced this without really consulting a lot of people. He just one day woke up and went, yeah, you know what? ISIS is no more. Fuck it. We're out of Syria. Boom. Everybody come home. So
no, that's not what happened, Brian. What happened, if you understand how Trump functions, he called his buddy Putin up and he said, Vladimir, what should I do? And Vladimir said, get out of Syria, get out. And so Trump said, okay, that's what I'll do it.
Well, you know what? I honestly, unlike these Russian nuts, I could give zero shits if that is how it happened. I don't care at all. If Putin was the one that convinced Trump to pull our troops out of Syria, I think I just pull our troops out of cereal. Get them
out of cereal too. Get them out of everywhere.
No cereal, no Syria. Put it on a bumper sticker. But no, if that's what it takes to get them out, good. I don't give a shit. I am so happy that they are out of Syria. And I am glad to see that Trump, who I was worried because all his generals were telling him, well, we got to stay in Syria. We got to push more in Syria. I'm glad to see Trump saying, look, I ran on this platform of no empire building, no overthrowing of dictatorships, no invasions that have nothing to do with America. I like that he's like, look, we were there to beat ISIS. ISIS is dead, which they are. They're basically toast. I'm getting out of there. So what are your thoughts on this?
I think it's fantastic. I was trying to find, there's a tweet that Donald Trump sent out, I think today or yesterday, talking about doing this. And essentially, he said just that. He said that, I'm paraphrasing it, I don't have it in front of me, but it sounded like Ron Paul. He said, I'm sick of our policy being to police the Middle East when most of the people there don't want us there, and we get nothing in return from it. So it's time other people step up. So nothing wrong with that statement. It's not our job, not the United States job. It's not the U.S. taxpayers' job to control what goes on in societies halfway across the globe.
Well, what do you think of the response that you've seen? I've already seen these outpourings of hand-wringing and calls from both sides, Democrats and Republicans, saying that this is the worst thing ever and it's going to cost America dearly. So what do you think about that?
I don't know. I'm not surprised by it. It's probably like the first time all year that CNN and Fox News have agreed on anything. But it's just the way that politics works. I mean, it's the military-industrial complex is a real thing. And a lot of these senators, the reason they get elected is because they had so much money stuffed in their pockets from these big government contractors, and they want to get reelected. So no matter how they really feel about it, they got to act this way, and they have to put on this persona that it's a bad decision, and we got to be in Syria for strategic reasons, even if they don't believe it, because they want the money to keep coming, so they can continue to be getting elected. So it's just a sick, twisted world that we live in, and thankfully we have a guy like Donald Trump. And it sounds like I'm a freaking MAGA hat wearing supporter. I'm not. But he's a guy that just doesn't give a shit, and he can do stuff like this. And that's one good thing about him. Doesn't mean that everything he does is good, but this is one very good thing. So definitely a Trump.
Yeah, man, I agree with you. And by the way, speaking of hats, did you know that we have some incredible new hats in the Lions of Liberty store that people could buy? But not only that if people sign up at a $10 level for our Patreon at patreon.com/Lions of Liberty, that they could get one of these amazing new Lions of Liberty pom-pom hats that we have for the winter seasons. Winter is coming.
Years. It'll last for years. I can promise you that. I'll guarantee it. It's a quality hat. Has the little beanie on top. So you can wear that out if you're. I don't know if you're into. There's some single guys who listen, single girls. Maybe you're out on the prowl trying to find a spouse or somebody to date. And there's nothing that attracts the opposite sex better than a beanie hat. That's
true. It is a straight fact, man. If you're a guy wearing it, it's adorable. It makes you look approachable. If you're a girl wearing this beanie hat with a little pom-pom on top, it looks like a third tit on your head. And that's how you bring men in. All right.
That's just impressive. Brian, thinking so quickly with that third tit joke. Just amazing.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So this pulling out of Syria is great. I sincerely hope that it's an indicator that more is to come. I mean, we have lost the war in Afghanistan. Lost it. Every time I read news about Afghanistan is that the Taliban has taken new territory over, and the Taliban wants to talk peace. So, hey, talk peace, get our troops out of there, relinquish control. Why are we over there too? Hopefully Trump sees it that way. Why can't we get out of, why can't we pull our troops out of Saudi Arabia? He's already pissed off about this Yemen thing, which I guess we should put a Trump and dump here on this. Trump on Yemen. That's all I'll say about it. Do I need to go into it more? I've talked about it so much in this show. Where Trump and the whole Yemen support thing, despite this Syria, where he's talking about not being involved in the Middle East. What do you give Trump on his?
Yeah, well, I think
his Yemen disposition.
At least for me, so Yemen sort of means like Yemen and Saudi Arabia. His position on that whole thing,
intricately tied into each other. Yeah,
the Khashoggi thing and all that. I think it's been very bad. I think it's a dump. I don't like the way that he's, and that's not even to say that I think this Khashoggi guy is just a good guy. He's been portrayed as just a journalist who was just criticizing the government. I do think there's more behind there, but did he deserve the death penalty? Did he deserve to be dismembered? It's just ridiculous. And it sort of reminds me of the way that Trump played it by saying that, well, we don't know what happened here. We don't have the information. When he knew right away exactly what happened. It reminds me of the way that Obama played the 9/11. I'm blanking on the name. When we had the embassy was raided, where was that?
In Benghazi.
Benghazi. We had the whole Hillary Clinton fiasco. Yeah. When Obama blamed that on some... a
viral video...
It's government lying. It's what people do in the government. See, I was praising Trump, and now I'm criticizing him. See, I'm fair and balanced. This is the real fair and balanced here. So yeah, I think it's a big dump. And Yemen is such a goddamn humanitarian disaster, and it has been caused by the United States of America, stamped up with USA labels stamped on those bombs dropping.
The bombs, the fuel, everything. It's so insane. Again, I don't understand Trump's logic. He pulls us out of Syria because we're not supposed to be there. He doesn't want to be involved in the Middle East. Why are we over there? They don't want us there. It does no interest to the United States. Nothing that's happening in Yemen has any interest to the United States. But yet we are continuously helping them commit a genocide there. If you're a little Yemenese kid, you're going to grow up hating the shit out of the United States. So how does this help our interest in any way?
Is it Yemenese or Yemeni? I think it's Yemeni.
Yemenese? I don't know, man. Don't ask me. Look, other than me caring that they're getting killed, they mean nothing to me because when am I ever going to meet them? Never. I'm not going to meet the Yemenis or Yemeni or whatever the hell they're called. They don't matter to me. Thus, why the fuck are we over there?
Well, I don't want people to die, so they matter in that respect.
I said that, though. Other than I don't want them to die. I don't care.
I heard you say you wanted Yemenis to die. What is that?
I just want to look. My goal in life, I think, this is why I'm a libertarian. My goal as a libertarian and the way I live my life is I want to care about the least amount of things possible. So I just want to cross them off. Yemen, can we cross that off so I don't have to care about it anymore? Because that would be great. The drug war, can I cross that off so I don't have to care about it anymore? That would be great. That's it. Paying taxes, I want to cross that. I don't want to have to fucking care about that either. I just don't want to fucking care. I'll be left alone.
You could run for Senate on that. Care less. I want you to care less.
Well, you know what? One of our, a few of our patrons had listened to the one show I did where I was talking about Do Nothing Man, how we need a superhero that's Do Nothing Man. And I think I might actually start rolling that out as like a 5-minute sketch for our patrons on a weekly basis. But just based upon the concept of I don't want to care less, exactly the same thing. But also if you're in the Senate, if you want people to do nothing, you're like, no, it's better to do nothing 90% of the time than to do something. And I'll just pull an example out like healthcare, putting all these insurance companies in place. Better if you simply did nothing. Healthcare costs are rising. The poor don't seem to have the care that they need. What do you want to do? I'll do nothing, citizen. Do nothing, man, away.
I like it.
It'll resolve itself in a better way because the market will take care of it. I mean, there'll be more to it than that. But all right, anyway.
It's a good brand. Do nothing, man.
Exactly. All right. One more quick Trump, and then actually, I don't even know if we need to go on the list. I think we've done enough. Enough Trumper dumps, I think. He created a new space command, but I don't know enough about it yet. It's a dump. Maybe it's a Trump. I don't know. If we get attacked from space, I'll change my mind.
Maybe we should only have a space command, and we shouldn't have any other Air Force and Navy and Marines. Maybe we should be worried about space.
I like that idea. I mean, because really, no one's going to invade us. No one's invading the United States, and that's all we should care about, right? So the only place we're going to get invaded from is up there by the Martians.
True.
The sexy green Martians that I saw in Star Trek. Always hot chicks. All right. One more thing to talk about, and then we'll wrap this up. This has nothing to do with Trump or dumping, but it's so dumb that I can't have an ELL without discussing it, is that the United Kingdom, their advertising standards authority, the ASA, had done a review and found that some stereotypes were harmful, citing ads. I'll do a wussy UK voice. Citing ads that belittle men for carrying out tasks that's seen as female, or suggest new mothers should prioritize looking good over emotional well-being. Okay, ready? Here you go. A new rule calls time on stereotypes that hold back people in society, said Shahrahar Kupal, director of the Committees of Advertising Practice, which said standards applied by the ASA. Anyway, long story short, they have put bans on ads that have negative stereotypes like women not being good at driving or men being flustered putting a diaper on a baby. They put a ban on this. Odie, number one, is this a violation of free speech? And number two, is this an attack on fucking comedy in general? And number three, have the Brits given up all hope of being redeemed as a society?
Yes to the last one. I think so. I think we should just nuke them and just be done with it.
There you go. See, people were giving me shit because I said I'd be fine with the journalists getting dismembered if it's going to end wars and support of wars. But this is much worse. You just want to nuke a country because they want to ban stereotypes.
Going to get kicked off of Patreon next. Oh God. Yep. No, we shouldn't nuke them. That was a joke, Mr. Patreon listener, man. It's Patreon's like the new NSA. They have their ears on everything you're producing just to see what you're doing.
Yeah.
But I mean, really, with obviously this is so absurd. I can't imagine that more than maybe 5% of people in the UK actually think this is good. And it just so happens that the majority of those 5% work in government.
Mm-hmm.
But
or a rabid third grade feminist.
Yeah, this is what leads to a cultural revolution, something similar to what led to Donald Trump in the United States, would lead to Brexit, and it's going to lead to, if they continue pushing this envelope, it's going to lead to more of that. I don't think it's necessarily going to lead in a pro-liberty direction. It could. I don't know if we have if that message has infiltrated the minds of people enough where they understand it and actually understand the benefits of liberty. I worry that other things could creep in. But this is just so asinine. But this does make me think of, it's always pissed me off on sitcoms in the United States, cartoons from The Simpsons to Family Guy, where the father figure is always made out to be a buffoon.
Oh,
I mean, can't do anything right. You're just a moron. All you do is drink beer and beat your children. So, maybe less of that would be good. But
I see that's where I disagree. Like I'm sure The Simpsons got rid of Apu. You need stereotype characters, and like the white male buffoon is good because these are comedies. It's supposed to be used as a teaching foil. And if you eliminate the bad characters, how are you going to teach anything? You have no foil to bounce off of. It's completely fucking retarded. It's
true. If you had like other characters contrasting that, but like on Family Guy, when every male character is a buffoon, just makes the completely male
True.
gender.
I mean, Family Guy is a specific type of show. It's like Always Sunny is a very specific type of show. Although I will say the season finale for Always Sunny in Philadelphia was pretty incredible. You know, it's like they had Mac come out as gay. Spoiler alert. And he did this whole thing as a dance routine with his. It was very, very meaningful episode and very well done for a show that's known for being the utmost of crassness. But
Mac, to be fair, Mac really, maybe this is crossing the line. Mac really came out as gay when he was getting blowjobs from that.
The doll?
The guy dressed up as a woman.
Yeah, that's true. The transgender, yeah.
Transgender.
She was so hot, though, the chick who played that transgender role. She was actually not transgender, which, of course, that would be a huge stir now, like Scarlett Johansson not being allowed to play a transgender, even though, of course, self-defeating, because wouldn't you rather have a movie made about a transgender person that people actually watch? Because then you probably want a celebrity in it. I don't know any famous transgender women that could pull it off. Anywho. You
would think the actor would be hailed as a hero for doing that.
Yeah.
It's not like every if you have a gay character portrayed in a movie that you have to have a gay man be the character.
It's the craziest thing. It's the stupidest, craziest. So anyway, getting back to this UK story though. It's literally, you know, the Brits don't have the same free speech entitlements that we have imbued in the Constitution in quite the same way, but they do have free speech. The censorship in the UK has gone a brand new direction though, with the online censorship coming and arresting people for hate speech in the UK. The Big Brother Society with the cameras on the corners. And now this, because the Brits are known for being one of the funniest societies on the face of the earth, by the way. One of the most sarcastic, mean, quick-witted, dry humor societies. And if you watch their sketch comedy, it's brilliant, it's cutting, and it's mean, but just hilarious. What the hell's going to happen to all this shit? If you can't show an ad with a woman parking badly, what the fuck is going to happen to comedy in the UK? You know?
I mean, it's what's going to happen to comedy everywhere. In the United States, the same thing is slowly happening. So comedians are going to have to revolt. Maybe you can lead that.
I agree, man. Hey, comics, people think we're peaceful people, but we have a lot of rage inside of us. We can
taking up arms next to Joe Rogan.
I'll take up arms behind Joe Rogan. Let him absorb the bullets.
He's pretty short. I don't know. It might just go right over his head.
That's true. It's too bad Ralphie May died. He would have been good to get behind. He was a big, tall, portly guy. And Patrice O'Neill, too. God rest peace, Patrice O'Neill's soul and Ralphie May, man. But they would have been good human shields. Anyway.
Speaking of human shields, here's a word from our sponsor.
All right. Well, here is a word from our sponsor. We'll be right back to finish this show up. All right, we're back, guys. Not for much, though. We're signing off. Anyway, to sum up the episode, Merry Christmas to all of you. Happy holidays. Happy whatever you're celebrating out there. John, do you have any last words to sum up this Electric Libertyland, this last Electric Libertyland before the end of the year and before a glorious 2019 for the Lions of Liberty?
I will just say, since I don't think I'll be on the New Year's show, as I have a conflict for recording. So I just want to wish everyone a happy 2019, welcome in the new year. And it's been an awesome 2018. And I want to thank all our patrons for the support. Please hang with us in this tumultuous time with Patreon, with what's going on. We're going to do what's best for Lions of Liberty. And right now, that is not moving off of Patreon because we would probably cease to exist because we don't have the funding to shoulder this on our own right now. So obviously, we thank you for your support.
Yep, and I echo that, guys. I know we all hate Patreon right now, but like John said, we don't have an alternative. And until there is one, we'll probably move on it quick. I hope Dave Rubin, I know, is talking about one. There's a bunch of people talking about other ones. But for now, guys, hey, it's your money. Do what you want with your money. But, as far as we're concerned, your support is needed. So stick it out with us, guys, and we'll do what we can. Anyway, for 2019, though, like John said, he's not going to be on the New Year's show. I will be on that show. But I want to just say to everybody, thank you for another great year of support. And keep fighting for liberty in 2019, guys. We will continue to fight. And I hope you will continue to listen and spread the ideas of liberty. So from me, from John Odermatt, from Felony Friday, from the Lions of Liberty, and from Electric Libertyland, always stay plugged in to liberty.